Hi everyone, welcome back to Geoguessr Explained. This is Zigzag here, and today we're going to be doing some more of the play along seeds. So there'll be this video seeds in the description, as well as next episode seeds. So you can play them both and have yourself featured in next episode as well. Well, today we are playing Diverse World and a Balanced Australia. So let's get straight into a Diverse World here, and I'll explain exactly what I think is going on. So first one here. The state is pretty easy. So this is like the American style of like state, highway, shield, and we've got the shape of Missouri here, I think. So looks like Missouri. Also, this like ending sign is like the typical American one where you'd have like the diamond in Canada. Also, like if it was Quebec, which uses this sign, it would be like two signposts rather than one probably. So yeah, even if we didn't have this, we'd get that it's US. We corn, it's fairly hilly, which definitely fits for Missouri, I think. Missouri is like one of the hillier kind of middle states, and like outside of the Appalachians. So yeah, definitely liking it. I would probably just take it somewhere over here, I think. But you can always find the road number if you can be bothered. That's 34. We could quickly check here. Not really feeling like finding the exact one, but yeah, I mean it's like would be easy enough to find if you could be bothered. So yeah, I think I'll go somewhere over here. Let's find out because we are forested here. And there we go, Republic Crater. Nice. And so ends up being a little bit further over that direction. Not too bad at all there. So let's move on to the next round here, which will be somewhere in Finland. Actually, we have the unofficial Google coverage here, which is done in the bottom right hand. You can see by Autori, which we call Aricam. And that's if you see that author, it's always somewhere in Finland, so it's kind of useful. Um, but yeah, we're driving right hand side of the road, solid white outside lines, so that wouldn't be anywhere in Sweden. And if it was in Norway, it would have yellow center lines, but we don't have them. So yeah, that's how we know it should be Finland as well. Not to mention the very like northern architecture and like very cold climate trees. So I just kind of click central southern here, somewhere there probably, and it ends up being central southern there. So we've had a good start to the round so far. Next one here. This is Kenya because of the massive Google car. Now, I would tend to think this is somewhere near Mombasa just because of the kind of architecture here, much more like white stone, and it feels quite coastal. And we do indeed see what looks to be fairly coastal vegetation. I don't see any palms. If we saw palms, we could be 100% sure here. We also have this kind of wire running through here, which you definitely do see in the Mombasa area, though you do see it elsewhere as well. But yeah, I think with this kind of like these kind of trees, I definitely prefer Mombasa with the white soil as well. So yeah, I just want to go Mombasa area here. Not sure if it will actually be correct. Maybe I'm going to sound a town south of Mombasa here. I'm going to try Tiwi instead. Let's see. It was just Mombasa. That's fine. Pretty close indeed. Okay, next one here. Massive road. We're driving left, which is good. The big thing to notice here, apart from the language, is the kind of thick white signpost with the black at the bottom, which is the Thai style. We got Thai language everywhere here. That's also helpful, of course. Thailand uses a couple of different colors on the plates, but you don't really need number plates in Thailand most of the time. But what I would say is this particular model of car, I don't know, it's like is it a Toyota? I don't know, but it's very common in Thailand. They have lots of pickup trucks, normally Asian pickup trucks, and yeah, they're just everywhere. Like seriously. So it's a good and underrated matter, I think. We've also got the white generation 4 car here, which is pretty common in Thailand. We have quite a few palms, so I don't want to go too far north here. Um, mm, yeah, and anything else to say? Not too much. These seem to be the standard coils. If they're a bit longer, they're in the deep south normally. But as for this round, I don't really know. Like, I don't want to go too far south here either because it's pretty flat. I was kind of just thinking like one of these cities out here even. Maybe that's irresponsible because we don't see any like red dirt or anything. Yeah. I don't know. I don't know where this is. Maybe I'll just hedge towards Pattaya. But yeah, I think it can be out here. I think it could be Bangkok, maybe even a bit further south. We'll see. And it was just a bit north of Bangkok there, so a fine score. Moving on to the final round here, and this is Japan. We got the low camera. We got the Japanese bollard here with the orange thing at the top. We got sunflowers, which is interesting. Not really sure what that would mean. You know, if I was playing NPZ here and I knew it was low cam, you could probably convince me to go Switzerland. Kind of interesting landscape here. Yeah, yellow plates on small cars in Japan. Very Japanese architecture here, obviously. So can we work out where to go? We got like a flat roof here. Almost feels more southern Japanese, but I'm not so convinced by that to be honest. Um, though we don't see anything like particularly useful for North Japan either. I don't really know like the plates on the poles in Japan. Like they have particular metal like plates on them. Yeah, I don't know them unfortunately. So I feel like this is actually north of Tokyo, despite the way that it feels kind of some of the buildings feel a bit more south. So I don't really know. Japan's difficult to region guess, especially if you don't have any particular metas. I kind of want to send it Sendai region. We'll see. And it was just, yeah, it was north of Tokyo, so that's not too bad. Okay, so 22.9 there. Yeah, pretty standard stuff. Actually, very easy seed, I would say. So we're gonna have to scroll down a little bit to get results from people who didn't go so well. But actually, it puts us 22nd place, which is fine. Okay, so in the meantime, while I scroll down here, give the video a like and subscribe if you want to keep on playing along. Hopefully it's helpful to you guys, but we just have to spam this a few times here and then see who we have. So then 1 and 2. I think we're gonna finally have some people who are a little bit lower on the leaderboard here. So yeah, let's pick up two 12Ks here. We got Sim and Arashi. Let's check them out. Check out how they did. It's a pretty long scroll up here. Okay, so as for the Finland, that was kind of tough with unofficial coverage. Wouldn't worry too much about that. We got the Missouri here correct. We had the state outline. That's very useful. So Kentucky, not a bad guess. Ecuador there. That's just USA uh, style of signage. We also had rumble strips. Don't really think you'd see rumble strips, like the kind of like plastic things on the side of the road to like let you know when you're, veering off the side of the road. So don't think you really see that in South America too much at all. Definitely kind of like a Western countries thing to see. So yeah, United States makes sense there. This one's a bit tougher with the Kenya if you don't know your Google cars, but just keep in mind that you have that big silver Google car, which you don't get in Nigeria. You do get it in Senegal, but kind of looks a bit different. And then, yeah, I guess apart from that, just the white soil on the coast. But yeah, I guess that's kind of difficult if you don't really too familiar with Africa stuff. India guess here is not so good, I would say, because of the Thai language. However, like you can kind of like tell Thai language because of these kind of small circles in it. So like, Korean has kind of bigger circles, and then Thai and Cambodian have like small circles. So yeah, it's kind of useful. Good guess from the other guy, but the India is not so good. As for the Japan, we had a similar guess to me, and a Hokkaido. I mean, Hokkaido is actually not a terrible guess, but I think you would see like snow poles or like those arrows that point down onto the ground because of the snow that you get in Hokkaido, whereas like, yeah, more middle Japan wouldn't have that so much. And yeah, I think that's about it for that one, right? So I said to Australia, which is indeed my specialty. So let's take a look at what we got going on here. So first round here, if you don't know, so we know we're in Australia. This metal pole with the holes in it is basically exclusive. In fact, yeah, it's almost exclusive to the Northern Territory. Very occasionally found in Western Australia. If it's green like this, then it should just be in the Darwin area. In Northern Territory only has really coverage like in the Darwin area and then on the main highways like this one, this one, this one, and anything like south of Manta or Ranka is just dry as. So yeah, when you see green like this, you're fairly north. Yeah, as well like these kind of like very, what you say, like very kind of tropical looking trees and whatnot, reddish dirt, and very red number plates. So the reddest number plates are in Northern Territory. Then you also get kind of like a light red, like a kind of dark red rather, in Queensland, but it's very faint because it's not as bright red as that one. Yeah, you know what I mean? Okay. Apart from that, yeah, just use the poles here. You're gonna get close. Don't get any particular vibe, but I don't think it's too far from Darwin, so I'll just go like around here. Should be fine, I think. And it was probably where I had it, but that's okay. 17 kilometers away in Australia is very good. Okay, next one here. Here we have some nice metas again, so I like this round. This is pretty generic, right? By the way, Australia is one of these countries that has white car long antenna. Countries that have white car long antenna. All throughout Europe, you see a little bit of it. Iceland has it basically every time. You see it sometimes in Russia. You see it very commonly in Australia. White car long antenna. It's not that common around this spot. I think I'm missing something here. Like Sweden has it quite a lot, I think. But yeah, that's about it for that. So it's not that common. But here we have in Australia, of course, driving left, and we have gaps in the outside of the road lines. So if you see gaps in the outside of the road lines like these, you can see they're fairly consistent. One here, one here, one here, one here, one here. That should be somewhere in South Australia. If they have like kind of like little red reflectors between them, then it can also be in Australian Capital Territory, Canberra. But yeah, generally speaking, we'll be somewhere in SA. It's a bit greener, so probably further south. I mean, it's not completely desolate. And as for the exact spot, it is kind of difficult here. It's kind of white sandiness that you see in that on the side of the road in South Australia is present here. I'm thinking like it's probably somewhere like out towards this direction, through to this direction, or maybe somewhere quite a bit further north. But I think I'll hedge it here and go near Tail and Bend. This feels like a fine guess to me, I think. And it was actually, oh, actually on that road. I did not expect that, but there you go. So we got the right state, but fairly far away. I can definitely understand that though, because there was a bit of a redness in the soil next to us, so that would probably be more common north. Next one here. And so we are looking at some sloped curbs here, a reddish tinged road. In terms of reddish tinged road, I would say that's definitely most common in Queensland and Western Australia. They're the two states where you see like a red road the most. We have very blue number plates here. You see it's a bit more blue to the top of the number plate here. That's also helpful. Um, and okay, so the big clue in this round is that the curb is very sloped. Like it's not a 90-degree angle, instead it's like quite flat so that you could just easily drive up onto the grass. That is very common in certain places, but very much so a Western Australia thing. So you can see other sloped curbs in like Queensland fairly commonly, but yeah, they just look different. This is like the ultra sloped one. That's something for Western Australia. And you can see there's also not really like a ditch next to it. It's just kind of like goes onto the road, just slope onto the road. So yeah. Also, Western Australia uses blue number plates, whereas Queensland does not. So we can be sure of it. This feels like Perth kind of area where I am right now. We do have ocean south there, or at least kind of southeast or something. That's kind of weird. Is that actually ocean? Maybe it's just a house. Hmm. Kind of hard to say. Anyway, I think it's West Coast. If not, it would be like here. I mean, we could be there. If I could actually make out that it's ocean, I could happily guess that, but yeah, I don't really know. I mean, it seems like we're next to the ocean for sure, but I don't know. Yeah, okay. In with because I don't really know, and we could see water there. I might just go Mandurah, which is where I was yesterday, just because you do get a bit of like water both sides there, and it does kind of feel like those suburbs. But I think Perth is probably more likely still. And it was Mandurah. There we go. Correct Mandurah guess. Very good indeed. So yeah, I was just there, and the real life experience pays off there. So that's pretty nice. Okay, moving on to the next run, and here we have another interesting one. Let's take a look around here. We got a white, like the Generation 4 car with the antenna. This is definitely the hardest round of the bunch so far. Okay, so we're gonna have to vibe guess this a little bit. It feels hilly in the distance. Like, is that actually a proper hill? Feels like it might be a proper hill there. So yeah, mountainous regions in Australia, kind of all up the east coast, and then all over Tasmania, and then you get other smaller mountain ranges elsewhere. We have like a milk carton, like a milk barrel, post box here, which in my opinion, this is an Oscar meta, but I think that's more of like this kind of area here. But like, yeah, you can definitely see in Victoria too. Um, this kind of bark that's kind of shaggy reminded me more of Victoria, I would say. I definitely think it's East Coast. Also, these kind of guardrails, I don't know, definitely kind of like looking fairly Victorian. Could even see Tasmania here. It's not impossible. The shaggy bark is maybe even more common in Tasmania, and it is hilly here, so I don't hate it, but I don't know, something about it makes me want to go Victoria more so than Tasmania here. I'm not really familiar with a lot of that there's a lot of new generation 4 in Tassie. Yeah, I just want to go Vic though. I don't know. Can be Tassie. We'll see. Okay, it was just middle Vic there. Yeah, just kind of the vibe with the trees, but definitely a difficult round. So let's move on to the next. And the last one here is I feel like pretty gettable here. This one's like a nice landscape guessing one here. So firstly, to the north here we have like some hills, but you notice the rest of the round is quite flat here. We still have like a row. Okay, that's not really a good example. I'm just gonna see if I can see more of those trees. Okay, here we go. So we got like a row of like kind of pine-ish looking trees. You can't see them too well. There's more hills over there, by the way. Oh, you can't see them too well, but they're like used as like wind sheets for crops, and it's very, very common to see that in like Western Victoria. Now, you can see similar ones in other states, but this one particularly done with pine trees. If you could get closer, that's very common there. We also have like a very like white mixed with grey gravel side of the road here, which is very Victoria. Um, One thing that is concerning here is that we have like a splatter on the Generation 2 camera lens here, which is definitely something you see more so in New South Wales, but I think we trust the trees here and probably go in that kind of Ararat area where you do get some kind of random hills heading up towards the Grampians, which is a big mountain, small but big, tall mountain range here. So that's where I want to go here. And it was indeed in that area because of those kind of trees which are more common around Warrnambool, but kind of that soil which is more common around here, plus those kind of random hills which are more common around here. So kind of triangulate it using that. So that wasn't a bad one. The South Australia was a little disappointing perhaps, but surely we've done at least decently here compared to the average person. So let's find out how everyone managed, and that puts us in third. So Will ahead of us definitely makes sense. Will has managed to 5k the first 2 rounds, definitely a beast when it comes to Australia. But okay. I think we could probably help people fairly soon here, but I'm going to click show more just twice to see what kind of score range we have here. And I don't think we need to like go too in depth here. Let's just click on Felix and Jockey Chip and see what they're going for. So the Perth, they both missed here. Just remember those sloped curves, super useful. The Adelaide gaps and the outside lines, they're the 2 biggest matters to take away from this video, for sure. Those rows of trees definitely can be SA as well, more commonly, where the other guy clicked, so good guess there. The Victoria round could have been New South Wales, could have been Tasmania, so definitely can't fault you guys for getting that one a little bit wrong, although one good guess there. And then finally, we had the Darwin, which you guys nailed. So there we go. That is a good little video, I think. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it very much. Like and subscribe if you did. And all guys, I'll see you guys in the next video. Till next time, goodbye.